The FBI found it in his freezer. He claimed he was innocent. He said that the money got there by spontaneous combustion. Well, he was convicted of taking bribes. Shocking. Out of San Francisco, police said they averted a potential workplace shooting by arresting Guadalupe Cabrera Miranda. The question is, did they read him his Miranda rights? I don't know. You'll have to read the article. The White House announced the war on terrorism is over. It says that we're no longer fighting jihadists. According to Obama, jihad is not a holy war, it's cleansing oneself. That's interesting. Had I only known. Remember those tiger attack men who picked on tigers, threw bottles at them, allegedly? The tiger attack, they won $900,000 from the city of San Francisco from a scum-sucking, verminous lawyer. Well, these tiger attack darlings were arrested again. Over and over again. Isn't the law grand? Go to the top of michaelsavage.com and you will see who coined the phrase obotomy and obotomized. Me, today. We're going to use these phrases such as, Mister, you sound like you've had an obotomy. Or, Mister, it sounds as though you've been obotomized. Coined by Michael Savage to be stolen instantly by the hemorrhoid with ears. From nuclear-free zones to nuclear family-free zones. That's right. I was taking a walk the other day when I thought about the years that I lived in a small town in liberal Marin County called Unfairfax. Like many insular leftist towns of the San Francisco Bay Area, Unfairfax had signs as you entered, the city limits declaring that it was a nuclear-free zone. Berkeley has lots of them. This is the sort of meaningless Marxist drivel that far-left town councils passed back in the 1980s to make a statement against nuclear war, as if there were a sane person anywhere who wanted the world to be destroyed by nuclear war. Anyway, these smirking, moronic, self-satisfied leftist sycophants would try to get themselves in good with the ruling leftist elite of California by declaring their little tiny hamlets to be nuclear-free. Now, of course, no one ever considered building a nuclear power plant or a nuclear missile site anywhere near these throwback towns. Nobody ever thought of driving a truck with any sort of nuclear material through these out-of-the-way boondock hamlets. And even if they did, there would be even no way of stopping it. But the idea of passing such a mindless ordinance appealed to the puerile brains of these pot-smoking, drug-taking, child-molesting neo-Marxists. They not only hated nuclear weapons and nuclear power, they also hated the nuclear family. I lived in such towns with my children, and there was an unbelievable air of condescension towards anyone who was married and stayed together and had children. It offended them in so many ways. Why, it was nothing more than a manifestation of patriarchy. It offended those who chose alternative lifestyles, if you know what I mean. And having a child has a negative impact on the environment. They had no conception that a nuclear family is what holds the nation together. It's mothers and fathers and sons and daughters living and learning and working together with the stress that produces a sane moral society, create a sane moral society. Without the nuclear family, there is chaos. Just as there would be chaos and anarchy if the leftists were able to declare the entire United States a nuclear-free zone. The nuclear family is the last hope for American society. And if the left is able to destroy it with an attitude of if it feels good, do it, then we are all obotomized. WOR is the next caller. Paul, you're up. What's on your mind? Go ahead, please.
Hi, Mike. Okay, real quick. I got a lot to say and no time to say it, so I had to get out of it for the very same reason. You work next to a guy, he learns how to make a sandwich, he comes from another country somewhere, and you're trying to show him how to work and get better and everything like that. Not only they're not really good yet, but they start learning from you, and then as soon as they can make a sandwich or something, they try to take you over right away.
Yeah. Yeah. Then they resent that you even own the store. They say you stole it from them. They were infected already with America hatred. That they're working for you. You gave him a start already. He should own your store.
It brings together everything you've been talking about, this liberalism and all this forgiveness and all this liberal way of life, is that, these liberals run around wiping their noses for everybody.
But most of these liberals don't really work, Paul. They have government jobs, they work in these NGOs, and what they do is brainwash the illegal immigrant into thinking they're being ripped off. They're here as guests of the country illegally, and the fact of the matter is that's what they should be reminded of. Let me explain something to you. There used to be a thing called apprenticeship. There was a whole series of craftsmanship in this country and in Europe. The guilds protected it very carefully. The guilds have unfortunately just become unions, and there's no apprenticeship anymore to speak of. And I don't want to go into great details. I have a friend whose grandfather was a carpenter, came over from Greece. In order to get a carpenter's license in San Francisco at the turn of the century, you had to pass a certain number of tests, one of which was the ability to build a frame, cut a door out of raw wood, put the hinges on the door you cut out of raw wood, and prove to the man who was checking up on you that that door would swing freely in the frame that you built. Only then would you be moved up on the rankings of a craftsmanship scale. Now compare that today to the raw workers who are working construction sites who can hardly drive a nail straight. But that's the problem today. The workmanship is poor all around. I'll give you another example. Great brands like Sony and Nikon are no longer foolproof. I have a large Sony monitor in several studios that I work in. These are like, 18, 20-inch screens. They're beautiful big screens. You say, oh, I look at Sony. It's like, whoa, that's like a Rolls Royce. 3 of these screens have failed within a year. I had to send them back to the factory. That's a Sony now coming out of Japan. I'll give you another example. 2 or 3 years ago, I bought a Nikon D70 camera. Now, today I use a smaller one, a high quality, megabyte. It's a great little camera. The Nikon D70 cost $1,200 when I bought it. Today I had to bring it in because a flashing light's been on now for a month. I haven't even used it for a year. I wanted to take the big camera with me with a telephoto lens, which I own. They told me it's a warranty item with Nikon. They get 3 a week now of this D70 failing on them. It has to be sent. It'll take 6 weeks, and then $200. This is what's going on now with once reliable brands like Sony and Nikon. So it's not just limited to workers who don't know how to wash a boat, who want to suddenly own your boat, or a pizza guy who learns how to make a sandwich and thinks he should own the Quiznos chain. It goes all the way down to the factories. This is the Savage Nation. With God's will and your listenership, I shall return.
Savage. Michael Savage. Afternoons 3 to 7 on Talk 910 KNEW and online at 910KNEW.com.